Hey, what's up? It's FitGearHunter, and up for final review today is the Haven Athletic Bag. And look at that. That has got some size to it. We're going to look at the details and the insides in just a second. We're also going to talk about sort of like how it was and the experience. But the main thing I would just say, everything on this channel, FitGearHunter and FitGearHunter.com website associated with it, is for the purpose of reviewing devices and tracking metrics for CrossFit training. And this is a bag for those doing CrossFit. It has compartments and sleeves. It has durability. It has quality built into the outsides and the seams and the zippers, and everything about it, I feel like, is high quality. So it is definitely the bag for me. It's the bag, I think, for you. This video, like I'll say explicitly, is not sponsored in any way. They did send me this bag to test it because I asked them. I said, I really want to see this bag to test it and tell others about it, because I think it has a perfect sort of genius concept to compartmentalizing all the different things that go into different types of things we may need for CrossFit or high intensity interval training. So they shipped it. I've got to ship it back. But before, I just want to share how great this bag is. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing for more. We've got the Coros Pace 2 review coming up, the Garmin Forerunner 945 LTE final review finally coming up, because I'm severely behind in a bunch of different things. So the Haven bag. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, basically how I've arranged it, how I've put everything in it. We're going to look at sort of the minor two cons you might feel when you see, with this particular bag, and this is the large duffel bag. And so things to think about if you wanted to consider the small duffel versus the large duffel. So you got to look at the space and the size versus some of the minor things that come with just having a large bag. And then we'll come back together to talk about final thoughts. Let's dive in and look at how the bag could be used for organizing your stuff in the bag overall. All right, so let's take a look at how I have arranged the bag and just what has worked out for me in general. I love every little bit of the compartments. Like I said, the main thing that's going to be hard for me if I want to go down to the smaller size is not having every single little specialty compartment like over here. So on the right side, you just take the towel out, just because it's sort of a sweat towel. You have the lifting belt plus all double under or jump rope activities plus a little bit of hair thing. This is the sticky spray for when I'm using wad and done, and throw that back in. This sleeve here is the perfect size for 2 sets of knee sleeves, which is great, so that you have one that's sort of like on its way, maybe use it twice before it gets too stinky, and then one that's just fresh and clean. Got the area for just the clothes. You can see underneath it, that's where the bow for the shoes underneath is going. So shock shoes, a little bit of chalk in the corner. I've got all the wrist wraps. I got 2 sets of wrist wraps in there. So again, if one's getting stinky, the other one, you can throw it in the wash and there's a backup. The wrist wraps, these are just my main wrist wraps. There's extra ones over there. I think there's extra ones other places. And then this is perfect for me, and it's perfect for anybody that uses a watch and does CrossFit. You definitely want a chest strap. It's got its own little part for the chest strap, especially because the puck is so small that it could always be getting lost. And then obviously if you're using wad and done or any kind of hand wrap that it might not stay on, you can use tape for that. I use this side compartment, obviously just for shoes. You could throw, look, you can see that there's a lot of size here. So you could throw a couple of running shoes on top. You could throw the Metcon shoes up top and put the lifters in the bottom. So there's just plenty of room. I got a journal up there. I think there's just like an extra, obviously a headphone cord and an extra chest strap to buckle into if that one, something happens to that. In this front section, I don't think I put anything in there. Extra battery for the puck for the chest strap. And then on the far side, I just put, it's sort of like a catch-all, but it's a perfect size space for wad and done hand wraps. So if you obviously use those, you just need a collection of those on hand. So again, you can see sort of the bow, but that's just because I never zip it up closed. The durability and quality is super great. The zipper is really large, so you can just easily zip it closed. There's the quality of the thickness of everything is really thick, and quality. The strap, which I never showed before, is a great big strap, but one of the great things about it is you can Velcro this and strap it over. So I have it double loops because I like a little bit more of a small latch there. Huge buckles for this. Everything, it's got like overlap enclosure. This is a vent so that it's airing out the insides, so there's like a flow to everything. And I think that's where it says on the back side, it's climate neutral certified and Cordura fabric. So high quality fabric. Still never figured out what these things are for. But overall, oh yeah, one thing that's nice is that it's got a magnetic. So if you were to strap it together, it just sort of snaps in place. So it's easier than Velcro to remove and to change, you know, nice big buckle zippers. So very, very well done. Very, very great idea and concept. And on top of it all, great execution. Okay, so the main thing about this, and it being such a large bag, is twofold, and it's not a major thing, but it's something to be aware of. So number one, I leave my top unzipped because I don't feel like zipping it up and then zipping it back and zipping it up and zipping it back. But because it's such a large bag that does have some rigidity to it, you get this sort of bow. And you can see sort of how the bow just sort of sits there. I mean, it doesn't affect anything. The stuff stays in the parts. You know, everything stays in their compartments, but it does have sort of a funny look because it's got a rigidity to it. So when you push against that rigidity, it sort of bows it out and just looks like off versus like a loose, flexible bag that just sort of moves and flows. But again, the rigidity is for the purpose of these things. So it probably, obviously, it would work better if you do this. And this is not what I do because I am too lazy. But if you just zip it up, again, you don't have the bow. The second major, or shouldn't say major, minor thing with it is, follow me this way, is it's so big that, I don't know if I can get through this without the microphone, but when you go through a door, it's doing this all the time. When you go through a room, it's hitting against things all the time because it's so big and it's so rigid. So you're having to like, okay, well, I got to do it the old-fashioned way where you get it and you walk it like this. But if you're like me, always in a rush, always trying to hustle around, I throw my bag on and I'm like grabbing 3 other things and it is swinging and hitting stuff because it's got some size to it. So just things to be aware of. Okay, so what do we see? The bag is awesome at having compartments for everything you could possibly need, whether it's wrist wraps or hand sleeves or tape or heart rate monitors or weight belts and spray and, you know, sticky hand wraps and double under or jump ropes and, you know, log books and everything you could possibly need. Plus, it's got a solid durability to it. So obviously the size of the large duffel and the rigidity of the large duffel cause just a couple of minor sort of infractions, a couple minor issues because it does have a bow to it because I'm too lazy to zip it up. If you zip it up, no problem. And obviously, if you're walking through a doorway, you're going to bang. You have to sort of teeter-totter through the doorway because it's just that wide and it has that much space to it. So those are the things to consider. But everything about this bag, I feel like, fits exactly what I would want. I am personally, and this is something I'll just sort of share for those of you thinking about buying one, I'm personally on the fence between the large and the small. So I love that large has the extra space. I love that you can put maybe a couple of pair of shoes because when I do, and there's a lot of running, I do use running shoes. And when there's just a basic everyday workout, I'll just use traditional Nanos and Metcon shoes. So I like that it has that extra space, but the size is just, it's a little too felt for me. So when I go to put it in the car, it's got size. It just, you know, got to make some room for this bag to go in the car. When I'm going through doorways and I'm walking around, you know, I don't want to lose the compartmentalization, the extra compartments, because there's like 4 little baby compartments on the large duffel and just 3 on the small duffel. But that's the only thing I would say to consider is what size is going to fit your life. It's not a significant difference in size, but it's just a little more, you know, it's a little shorter, a little bit not as high, a little bit not as wide if you go with the small duffel. But altogether, this is a very quality bag. And I know for me, when I first looked at the website, I felt like, is this real? Are they going to make this? Are they going to send it to me? And I would just say this is a legit bag. It is worth considering. There's nothing like it that I have seen that doesn't just have just a big open flap where you throw all your stuff and then lose it and have to sort through things. One thing I didn't mention in the compartmentalization review but it's got the gray backdrop so you can see things even better because it's not a black backdrop. So that lighter backdrop makes it easier to see things. So high quality, great buckle system, great zipper system, great compartmentalization. Great overall weight. Great that it has the vents out the side. I mean, you just need that. Your wrist straps are going to be sweaty. Your hand wraps could be sweaty. Your knee sleeves could be sweaty, even if you don't put your sweaty clothes in the bag. So just having ventilation, having flow, all of it works so well as a bag solution for the people doing CrossFit, powerlifting, high-intensity interval training, Olympic lifting, anything like that, because of all the different things that might tie into those types of exercise. So with that is the Haven Athletic Bag. And this is the FitGearHunter. Thanks so much for watching.